You guys can't hear my music. But baby, don't get it twisted. Hi. How is everyone doing? I was listening to Rihanna for like 2 seconds. I needed it. I needed her music. I needed her voice in my ears. Let me know, you guys, if you hear me clearly. Can I get a thumbs up? Can I get an amen or a yay man? Let me know that you can hear me clearly, because I'm working with my iPad today. I'm working on my iPad today, and I have a new, okay, yes, I can see that you guys can hear me. That's wonderful. That makes me so happy. Timeout. Can I put a filter on this? Because if I can, this could be a bit of a game changer. No, it's not allowing me to. That could have been a moment. Okay, you guys, I'm looking at you from both of my cameras right now. We have the laptop going on over here in the corner on the right. We have the iPad over here on the left. I'm thinking about going live on Instagram. We'll see how I feel about that. Because I like to encourage everyone to join in. Oh my God, look at this little girl. Too cute. We have so much to talk about, you guys. We have so much to talk about. And it has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that I took some time off. It has everything to do with the timing is just, to me, it's remarkable. I always, in these moments, I'm always reminded of how Spirit looks out for me, for you, for all of us. And I truly, truly believe that divine timing is always at works. I feel as though the more that we respect Spirit's timing over our lives, the more that we respect and work with the planets, we're good. When we start fighting against it, when we start panicking, when we start swimming upstream, when the rest of the universe is saying, go this way, go that way, or flow that way, and you're fighting, you end up exhausting yourself. That's when you get caught in the current. That's when you get pulled down. It becomes a problem. Years ago, I want to say 2.5, maybe 3 years ago, I finally allowed myself to submit. I finally allowed myself to submit to the divine, to the universe, and to allow myself to go with the flow and stop fighting. As a Virgo, I'm saying this all for a reason. As a Virgo, someone who is a perfectionist, someone who doesn't like letting go of control, someone who sometimes believes that my way is the best way, and that the way that I can see things is the way that they should be. For me to allow that to happen so that I can channel and so that I could do my work and actually like live up to my purpose and master my purpose. I mean, that was so hard for me to do it, but the more you start to become more accustomed to it, it starts to get easier and life starts to get better. You get rewarded by going with the flow. And that's something too that I'm seeing here. The reason why I'm saying this is because every single one of us has a timetable for our lives. Every single one of us has divine timing working in our lives. Every single one of us has divine favor and order working in our lives. And when we know how to work with that, we can see it in the planets. We can see it within the astrology chart. When we can work with that, and when we're not fighting against that, everything starts to flow. This is not only just timing, it's who we are, it's our relationships, it's our ability to self-master, it's our ability to step into our unlimited potential, it's our ability to help each other, it's our ability to maximize our health, maximize our vibrancy. The list goes on and on and on. So instead of fighting against, and I feel like the majority of you guys, you pretty much know this. You've heard me say it time and time again. I go live every week in order to encourage us to have faith, not only in ourselves, not only in each other, but most importantly in the divine, in the universe, and what's happening. I believe that astrology was created for all of us to use it as a tool. I believe that from the moment that we are born, that we stepped foot into this earth, or when we came out headfirst into this earth, that we were given a tool to work with, and that was our astrology chart. And the astrology chart is a mapping of our potential, our full potential of what we can do and what we shouldn't do and when we should do it. And then there's a few that are sprinkled in there that have the gift to the passion to study it and the gift to master it. the astrology and to help guide the rest of those other people. And I believe that that's what I'm here to do. And it's my goal is to stay committed to that. I don't see myself stopping this anytime soon. I've been doing this all of my life. I can't imagine that somehow out of nowhere I'm gonna have this like weird change of plans. My whole life has been dedicated to this, so we'll carry on, we'll continue on. But it's very important to take breaks. And when the universe and when divine and when my guides ask me to take a break, I take a break. And then when they say, okay, now it's time to come back, it's time to come back. And we're back. We're back from the break, and the timing, again, could not be perfect because now we need to talk about everything. 888, there's 888 people in the chat at the time of me seeing this. 904 now, so go ahead and give this a thumbs up video. Shout out to Eric and Mel and Ashley, who are my moderators. Pretty much what they are people who protect us. Their job, and I pay them, you know, to that's their responsibility, is to look out for the tribe. The time that it is that we have here is very, very sacred. It's very special. It is a time for you to use it for your highest and greatest good, to use it to understand what's going on in the planets, to have a better understanding of what's going on in your personal life. We'll talk a minute about current events. Empowering Pisces says, thank you, Eric and Mel. Thank you, you guys. Yes, please give a quick shout out to Mel and Eric if you can, and just show them some hearts, give them some love, because they're the one that is here protecting us from any, you know, lower vibrations, people who try to disrupt the chat. We're right under maybe 1,000 different people who are tuning in. Some people are really here from a higher vibration. Other people are here to judge. And there's a small select few that like to come in and try to shake things up they need attention. So let's not allow that to derail us. Let's not allow that to derail you and from getting all of what it is that you can gain from these chats. These chats are so important. I really truly believe that they are so important. Okay, so thank you guys again for phenomenally. Lady Ray says Law and Order equals Mel and Eric. That is so funny. That is so funny. Okay, so let me go through the rules before we go ahead and dive into what I am seeing for this week, next week, and the months ahead for the rest of the year. That's how deep what we need to talk about, that's how deep this goes, is that it's not just this week. This week is currently June 15th. Isn't it interesting that I study the charts, I pull the charts, I look at the date, I look at the timing, and still to this day, I have a hard time remembering what the hell day is it, what year are we in, because I don't really pay attention to that. I just pay attention to the astrology of it. All right, so anyways, back to what it was I was saying. Thank you guys so much for the super chat. So the rules are, try your best to stay as focused. That's what I'm going to start off with saying now, is just try and stay as focused during the live as much as possible. Again, Mel and Eric are there to protect us, and sometimes there's a few people that will come through and they'll say some silly stuff, some dumb shit. Their job is to come through and block that out. So don't worry about it. You don't need to attack them. You don't need to look at what everyone is saying. Stay focused on me. Stay focused on the message. There's a lot to gain. That leads me to the next rule, which is feel free to go ahead and take notes. Feel free to go ahead and record. Feel free to go ahead and put these videos and what is that you record on your Instagram, on your Twitter, on your YouTube. Just make sure that you tag me at Bahati Life. I'm okay with that. Do your best not to get a really crappy screenshot of me. Some of you guys will literally wait till the perfect moment when I'm like this. And you'll take a screenshot and then somehow it'll get, somehow you get the screenshot and it'll be all over the place. Wait, Empowering Pisces said, and you can say fuck. And that's so true. That's my third rule. You are allowed to say fuck. You're allowed to curse. You're allowed to speak candidly. YouTube doesn't like it, but it's not about them. It's about us. This is a sacred space. Again, Mel and Eric are working to protect that sacred space, and a part of having a sacred space is the ability to talk openly and candidly and honestly, and that does not mean censoring ourselves, but at the same time we have to remain respectful. So you're allowed to curse. I say fuck all the time. Fuck is one of my favorite curse words. But when it comes to any type of language outside of that, make sure that you're being respectful towards me. Make sure that you're being respectful towards each other. Any disrespect will not be tolerated. You will be kicked out faster than you can say, what the fuck just happened? Why am I sitting on the curb? And like I've said before, that it is better to have me in your life than to live your life without me. It is better to have me in your life than to live the rest of your life without me. So make sure that you do not get blocked from my page because you are only punishing yourself. It would fucking suck to go on without this tribe. It would fucking suck to go on without this guidance. It would fucking suck to go out into the unknown, just totally out there on your own, like really. And it's really important, again, for throat chakra vibes that you are that we are allowed to not have to censor ourselves in that way, okay? And that's a really big lesson, you guys, is that respect does not mean that you have to be poised and pulled together all the time. Respect means that you're moving from a space of higher love and higher vibration, and that you're still able to get angry, that you're still able to get emotional, that you're still able to express yourself without feeling guilty for the things that it is that you need to say. Did I pretty much cover everything? You guys, let me know, tribe. Let me know. Did I get all the rules? I feel like I pretty much got everything. If you're not following me, follow me on Instagram at Bahati Life. I'm also live on. I'm also pretty active on the Twitter machine. Emily says I was 12 minutes late, and who's getting blocked now? Y'all better behave. No one's getting blocked yet, honey. We're going through the rules right now so that everyone's on target right now. Okay, listen. Can we take a moment really quickly before we get started? I'm going to put this on Instagram. So basically what I want to do is show some love. I'm going to put some love out there. So on the count of 3, do me a favor and put all of the hearts, as much hearts and as much love as it is that you can, to the best of your ability. I'm going to put it on my Instagram. So, okay, wait, Jordan Brown says, what's Jess's Twitter? It's at Bahati Life, okay? Okay, so on the count of 3, we're gonna start flooding it up with some hearts and some comments. I'm gonna be waving in the background like a little nugget. You guys are gonna see this on Instagram. Make sure that you look for your names. And 3, 2, 1. And now we're gonna go ahead and flood it up. Let's see it. Let's see the hearts. Wait, I'm seeing them on this side. Some of them are getting flagged. Hold on. Bada bing, bada boom. There they are. Look, you guys. I love that. Okay, wait, it's not coming on my iPad, it's coming on here, which I really appreciate. Oh my God, I love it so much. Eric and Mel are trying their best to keep up and catch up with all these hearts right now, but it's just, even YouTube can't keep up. That's too funny. That is way too funny. Yes, it's so cute. I love it. Thank you guys. Hold on, let me put it up on IG. We're live. I just tried to put down we're live, but it said we're liver. So I don't know what that's about. Thank you guys so much for the hearts. I love it. Okay. Oh, and that's the last thing. If you guys have any questions about orders or anything like that, then go ahead. Look at these hearts. Look at all the hearts, you guys. You can't see it on that. Well, I can't see it on that screen, but trust me, it is there. I love you guys so much. There it is. There's the heart. Aww. Okay, we're going to get started. 2 seconds, I promise. 2 seconds, I promise. That is so cute. Loving it, loving it. It's those moments that just make me feel so grateful. So, so grateful. All right. Okay, we pretty much are done with all the rules and all the regulations. Let's go ahead and get this party started. So, for those of you guys that don't know, I have here on my right side, I have my, the chart pulled, and I can see you guys' comments, and I can also see them over here. Basically, when I read a chart, for those of you guys that don't know, when I read a chart, it's 1000% science and math for the most part. That's how it is for most astrologers. But what ended up happening is over time, I started realizing that when I would see a symbol, when I would see an object, it would trigger something in my head. It would trigger my intuition, and then from that, I would be able to gain additional messages. I would be able to gain additional information that I would then share with you guys. It's almost like watching a vibe, all right, seeing how things are vibing with each other. The planets represent like different energies, and how those energies express themselves changes based upon who they're interacting with and what they're going through at that time, what those planets are going through at that time, right? So as I'm looking at the chart, which is what we're going to be doing today, and how I'm pulling my information, and for those of you guys that ask, I pull my information from astro.com. So that's where I pull the bare bones chart, and from that I just see what's going on within the week ahead, and then write it down, and then write down like what that energy and that vibe looks like. This is something that I've been doing for a long time, for years, right? So that's what it is that you can expect when I'm doing these chart readings for you guys. It is for a general audience, okay? What I'm pulling and what I'm looking at this chart is a general chart reading of the chart at the moment. So what some people don't like to call it, but what it actually is current events, right? So as above, so below. What's going on up there impacts us down here on Earth without a doubt. That's the other thing too that it is that I want to talk to you guys about, is that none of what it is that I'm talking about in the chart, in astrology, has anything remotely to do with my opinion. If you know anything about me, you'll know that it is very rare for me to talk about my personal opinions, what it is that I'm personally going through. I do not project that onto you guys. That would be very irresponsible and unprofessional for me to do. I understand that there's a lot that's going on globally right now, and there's so many people getting triggered. That's another word that we could talk about later on, but there's a lot of people that are getting triggered by certain things, or you're exhausted, or you're feeling vulnerable, you're feeling emotional. I get that. But when we're talking about things like this and what's going on in the world, what's going on in current events, even if it's something that might be a lot, you guys still, for the most part, if you're interested in astrology, astrology is showing you how the planets are creating the changes that it is that we're undergoing in our life right now at this current moment in time. It's not about what it is that we want it to be. It's not about how it is that like we envision it. It's how collectively all of this works for all of us, right? So this is so important that it is that we mention this. Number one, because it's some of these topics can be sensitive, right? As an astrologer, I'm going to give you a quick example, and then I'm going to go ahead and dive into exactly what it is that I'm seeing. But if you were to come to me for an astrology reading, right, I have no investment in whatever question is that you're asking. You come to me and you're asking me about your marriage, right? And I can see that as above, so below, the planets are creating the element of brokenness within your chart. They're breaking down an outdated system, outdated beliefs that are going on in your marriage and in your life. And I can see that this could create like irritation and splitation. It is not my opinion that I'm telling you that you guys are moving towards a space a year and a half in advance. You guys are moving towards divorce, or that energy of divorce might be there, or you guys needing a break. Okay, it's not my opinion. It's not something that I'm wishing on you. It's not that I want you guys to stay together or separate. It's the fact that planets impact us here on Earth, not only in our intimate and our personal lives, but on a global, larger level. Okay, that's always how it is. It has nothing to do with what you wish that it would be, or what I wish that it would be, or what your neighbor down the street would wish it to be, or your parents, or his parents, or the dude who gives you your mail at the end of the day, or whoever it is that you're cheating on your spouse with. It has nothing to do with any of what anybody wants it to be. It's the fact that the energy of the planets is always going to find a way to express itself. And if the planets finds a problem, it will then work to reveal what that problem is, so that you have the power within and your control in order to fix it. There's karma, there's destiny, there's fate, and there's always free will. So when we have this energy going on, it's your free will in order to change ultimately your karma and your fate. That's where we're at right now. So for anybody who's really wanting to get triggered by anything. There's no need to get triggered. We're just talking about facts. Facts only. I've always been about facts. I'm a realist for the most part. I'm a Virgo. I don't like to sugarcoat shit. If you don't like it, now's a great time for you to go ahead and exit and maybe catch us on a replay. Okay? So, that being said, current events, what's happening right now is not something that has been brand new, okay? These are systems that have been set into motion for not just this year, not last year, not the year before that, not 5 years ago, all right? These energies that we're dealing with, this energy that is currently getting broken down, goes deep. It goes generations deep, okay? I said this like 5 years ago. Number one, I started saying it 5 years ago that we were entering into a space of just total, everything is going to be up and down, left and right, right? All we had to do was buckle up and prepare for the changes that were going to be. That was an intuitive message, but it was also supported in the astrology chart. Why are these changes, why are they happening so deep? Like, why are they happening now, and why are they so deep? Why are issues from the past, things that should have been antiquated, why are they just getting uprooted right now? Well, my loves, and this is not just global, you guys. This is not political. This is going on in your personal lives. This is going on in your intimate lives, okay? So these are some issues, but we're definitely seeing it in our government and our politics, so apply it at will. But these are issues that are ruled by Capricorn, right? Why Capricorn? Well, because Pluto's been moving through Capricorn for years. Jupiter has been only just recently been moving through Capricorn. For me, it's like a year and a half. I'm pretty sure of Jupiter moving through Capricorn, and also Saturn. Saturn's been moving through Capricorn. Capricorn is the rules and the regulations, businesses, government, politics that have been set up. Whatever it is that we have, I don't want to say rooted ourselves in, but whatever it is that we have to fall back on, that we work to rely on to provide organization and order in our lives, that is what Capricorn rules. And when the planets start moving into that sign, they highlight and focus all of their attention and energy in that one area of your life. You can't escape it. You can't evade it. You can't distract yourself from it. You have to deal with it. Whatever it is that Capricorn rules within your chart is 9 times out of 10 the area of your life that you've been dealing the most with, that you've been struggling the most with. You can't escape it. You can't run from it. You can't distract yourself. Capricorn, when Pluto and Jupiter and Saturn move through this sign, these are the planets that rule the largest change. They rule massive change. Pluto rules the energy of destruction, rebirth, regeneration, power, control, manipulation, intimacy, right? So when Pluto moves through Capricorn, the energy of Capricorn, it highlights and focuses all of its irritation, if there's irritation there, and says, okay, because the timing, divine timing says and is telling me, the planet Pluto, to now focus my attention on here, then this is what I'm going to start uprooting and focusing on. Everybody has their increment of time. Everyone has their allotted time. Everyone, that sign. Soon Pluto's going to move into Aquarius, and we're going to start seeing the energy of that felt on a major global level. But for right now, it's the powers that be. It's government, it's politics. It doesn't give a fuck about if you're a Republican, if you're a Democrat, if you're a socialist, if you live in a tent in the middle of the woods and you have no party affiliation. It does not care about your political affiliation at all whatsoever. It doesn't care if you're a business owner. It doesn't care if you are the owner of Target. It doesn't care if you are working for the man. It doesn't give a fuck about any of those things. It just says that these areas of our lives are now, we're going to start seeing them being remodeled, because there's issues. If there is an issue that is out of balance, that is out of whack, that is manipulating or controlling, or it's not balanced, that planet's responsibility is to see it, find it, fix it. And when you fix it, reward it with the new powers that be. Saturn is all about rebuilding. So Pluto and Saturn is connected to rules, regulations, structure, organization, that type of stuff. So, and like leadership. but it's very cold. It's very dry energy. So when it comes through the sign of Capricorn, it says, listen, I'm going to keep pushing weight. It's not going to be an overnight thing. For some of you guys in 2019 and 2018, you're like, 2020 is going to be my new year. 2019 is going to be my year. And I'm looking at you guys like, that's a fallacy. So sometimes when you guys have this thought in your head that's like, in order for something to be my year, it's going to be easy, it's going to be effortless, it's not going to challenge me. The reality is that easy and effortless does not create the change that you're needed in order to make you grow, in order to make you thrive, in order to make you evolve. You gotta be uncomfortable. If you weren't uncomfortable, if you didn't want more for yourself, if it was working in your mind, if your perspective was limited, you would never ask yourself the bigger questions. You would never want more for yourself. Human beings were designed to evolve, and human beings were designed to protect the earth and to protect all that inhabit the earth, including animals. It's our responsibility, given the tools that we have, our education, our knowledge, our intuition, our gifts, in order to share that with the rest of the world. We weren't meant to hoard it, to hog it for ourselves. We're meant to protect the earth. We're meant to protect each other, right? So when Saturn comes through and says, listen, this is not going to be an overnight quick change, quick shift. Some of you guys are dealing with your relationships. Some of you guys are dealing with your marriage, the partners that you're choosing. Some of you guys are dealing with health issues. Some of you guys are dealing with money issues. How does it go deeper than just you? How does it go deeper than just you? These issues go deeper. They're generational problems. They're generational things that don't get wiped out overnight. It's your job, and I know that it's not fair. If you're saying to yourself, this is not fair, I did not ask for this, I do not deserve this, you're probably right, and that's the same area of your chart that Capricorn is probably ruling, is the same area that you're like, this is not fair. I didn't want to have heart condition. I didn't want to have to be at risk of diabetes. I didn't ask to have generational stay in a lack mentality. How is it that I make, not me, but some of you guys are asking yourselves, my family cannot escape this lack welfare mentality, which is like, no matter how much we get, it's never enough. We always end up back into poverty because it's a generational issue. Hold on, wait. Jalen Britt says, what if you do not have Capricorn in your chart? Every single one of us has Capricorn in our chart. There's not one person that does not have Capricorn ruling something within their chart. That you may have your sun sign, maybe in a sign of Gemini, your Mercury might be in a sign of Cancer, your moon might be in a sign of Aries, but Capricorn, it doesn't matter. Capricorn rules something within your chart. Your planets might not be placed there, but Capricorn rules a house within your chart, and you would have to pull your chart in order to see what house that is. For me, Capricorn rules my 7th house of relationships. So here, this would be a great time for me to, and has been a great time for me to address generational curses, so to speak, or generational struggles when it comes to marriage and union and partnership and trust and stability, and why my family chooses the partners that they choose, and what those relationships have looked like. And if you are open to learning, if you are open to accepting the fact that you might have to do different, that there is an issue that needs to be fixed, that there is healing that needs to happen, that there is a new foundation that you need to have destroyed. Well, the old foundation has to be destroyed so that the new foundation can be created. You will grow from this, and you will become better, and you will be rewarded after it. The reason why you guys, I'm talking a mile a minute, but I'm telling you, I have so much information to give you guys, and we're literally at 30 minutes. We have 30 minutes left to go. I have so much to share with you guys. So thank you guys for, keeping up with me. But if you have to, you can catch it on the replay. But the reason why some of you guys have not experienced the reward yet is because the same planet that is ruling this energy is the same planet that has been retrograde, and as soon as it exited out, as soon as Saturn exited out of Capricorn, the sign that it was challenging, it then went retrograde, which it currently is now, bringing back all of those issues again. Not only is that happening, but Pluto Pluto is still there making its rounds, saying that this still needs to get cleansed out. This is so important, you guys, because, and this is such an amazing thing, because Pluto does not allow infection to stay in any given area. Pluto will cleanse out and uproot and cut out the problem as well as the infected area, and then work to heal it up, to sew it up and make it stronger and make it better. If Pluto was not here in Capricorn while all this was happening, I almost feel as though the collapse, it would be crazy insane. It would be way worse than it is now. Not in a sense of, you know, that this is good or bad. It just would be way more uncomfortable. And there's the possibility of infection, the possibility of not feeling like that, you know, that cleansing. It would just be like, there's a chance that it could reemerge, that it would not be completely cleansed out. At the same time, Pluto will make us very vulnerable. It will make us feel very exposed. It's the same things that it is that we are so uncomfortable with talking about. It's the same things that we're so uncomfortable with admitting to ourselves and admitting to each other. It's that issue of power control that we have a really hard time working with. So, and then Jupiter comes through and blasts it all out. So don't be discouraged, you guys. Deliana says Pluto is so deep. Exactly. Pluto is super deep. It goes to the root. It goes so deep into the root. Meanwhile, while it's digging into the root, Saturn comes through and is crushing the weight of it and then rebuilding around it. There's a lot that is happening. I want you guys to see this. And I don't want to tell you to get excited or to feel anything other than what is that you're feeling, but I want you guys to see what is happening, and instead of being discouraged by it, be like, oh my God, we want to give gratitude to the universe for giving us a chance to break up. Hold on. Gina Sim says, I remember you saying this about 2020. Exactly. Everyone, all the astrologer accounts on Instagram, all the intuitive accounts were like, 2019 is going to be our year. 2019, we're going to take it back. 2019 is going to be the year of thriving, blah, blah, blah. And now they're like, fuck this. Now we got to wait until 2021. No. If you looked at the chart, you would see that the year does not close out at the end of 2018 and then moving into 2019. If you look at the chart, you would see that the year doesn't close out on 2019 and then opens up in 2020. It doesn't work that way. Divine timing and the planets do not work in according to the human calendar. We fucked that up when we created it. We did the best that we could, and what we got wasn't enough. We just worked with what we got. So it didn't like when the year ended, it wasn't like, oh, fresh start, new energy, new me. Good luck with that. It was only going to compound. It was only going to build up, and it's going to continue to build up. So you guys need to stay open to this. You need to stay open to changing. You need to stay open to being flexible, to evolving, to learning, to shifting. All right? Eva's saying 2020 is the vision. I see why it is that you're saying that, but it goes deeper than that. It's about seeing what has been suppressed, what has been succumbed, what we have been ignoring, what we haven't been dealing with. This is on global. This is not just global or politics or business. It's on personal issue. Jessica is saying cleansing it out. Absolutely. Doing better. It's about doing better. It's about, being open. It's about stepping out. It's about being uncomfortable. It's about not numbing ourselves anymore. It's so interesting that the same generation that's going to be creating the massive change is the same generation that is numbing themselves with drugs, with this drug culture. It's so funny to me and the reason why that is because Neptune is sitting in the sign of Pisces. This is the sign that actually rules the inability to deal with reality, okay? Pisces wants to escape reality, and Virgo, the very opposite of that is Virgo. Virgo says, all I see is reality. When Neptune sits in the sign of Pisces, which is what is that we're happening here, we want to escape from reality, and then all of a sudden, spirituality starts trending. Did I not say this like a year and a half ago? I was like, watch it. I was saying it before that, like 2 years ago. Watch Neptune's move into Pisces. This is when the spirituality community is all of a sudden going to be pushed up. They're going to be turning that into businesses. It's going to be so good because there's going to be so many people stepping into their gifts, but you have to be so careful because there's always two sides to the sword. There's going to be those who are actually strengthening their gifts and working with their gifts, and then there's going to be those who are going to be abusing it. They don't even want to admit to themselves or to admit to others that they're abusing it. They're pulling cards and they want to profit off of these things. There's nothing wrong with sharing your gifts and making money off of it, but not when you're issuing blank statements, when you're saying that, oh, I have a gift, or oh, I heard this message, or oh, this is my prophecy, when you never got a prophetic message to begin with. Tab Z says, you said it, I sure the hell do. So back to what I was saying is that the same generation that is going to be creating the massive change, the voice of the people, who is literally going to be creating the rebel, that is going to be creating this massive change that we are all relying on, is the same thing that the government right now is trying to work. And that's the thing, is that government and business is connected to media. That's how they control the populations. So how is it that the same people who are the younger generation that are going to be the change, the bringers of change, they're the ones that are going to be radicalizing things. They're the ones that are going to be being like down with the system. This is our new vision. This is our new world. We are the people. We are heightened. We are sensitive. We are growing. We are evolving. At the same time, the media, the music, the issues, the things that we're seeing on social media, they're trying to put them on drugs. They're trying to numb them. They're trying to make them overwhelmed by what is that they're seeing. The people, some of the top music artists and artists right now that are influencing them, they're on Percocets, they're on Xannies, they're on having heroin overdoses and drugs. Why is that? Because Neptune is moving through the sign of Pisces. This is the same generation. That's going to be our biggest downfall. I said this like 2.5 years ago. Wait, hold on. Sierra said they're trying to confuse them. That's exactly what's happening because Neptune is moving through the sign of Pisces. We can see this all. And I don't want to say we. I don't want to speak on behalf of all astrologers because not all astrologers are saying the same thing because not all astrologers can see it. There's some who can see it and there's a lot who can't. I can see it within the chart. I've been seeing it within the chart. I saw all of this a year and a half, 2 years before we started entering into it now. If you don't believe me, you guys can go ahead and check my YouTube channel, check the timestamps, you can see it all. The same thing is going on with what's going on with that is happening with what we're seeing in the government and politics. I'm not making this shit up. I never put my opinion out there. I'm professional as fuck. Some of you guys are like, Jess, how can you be professional and wear a tube top on on camera? The reality is that when you start working for yourself, you can do whatever the fuck you want, and then you start redefining what professionalism means. Professionalism doesn't mean that I have to wear a suit and a tie and sit there and be a robot. Being a professional means that I honor my word, I master what it is that I'm working on, and I share that with you guys consistently. So there's that. So instead of being triggered by what it is that I'm doing, oh my God, Donovan's here. So instead of being triggered by what it is that I'm doing, get inspired by it. Instead of judging another person who's doing what it is that you want to do, ask them how they got to do it so that you can do it for yourselves. I would never be triggered by someone else's success. I would never be triggered by someone else living their truth. I would never be triggered by someone else thriving and growing and doing awesome at what it is that they're doing. I would be like, yo, girl, yo, boy, tell me your secret. Let's talk about it. That's the energy that we should be in right now. Okay, so I'm going to take a sip from my water and I'm going to let that settle for just a second. And in the meantime, feel free to go ahead and like this video and share it before we continue because we're about 38 minutes in. That's over 30 minutes and we're going to take a break. We're going to take a pause. I've said enough anyways. I've said too much. Yo, I love water so much, especially ice water. Like, ice water is the gift that keeps on giving. I learned that in New Orleans. In New Orleans, I didn't have an ice machine, and then I saw that someone else had an ice machine, and then I filled my cup up with regular water, and then I put ice in it, and I was like, yo, this is different. And then when I moved into my apartment, I had an ice machine, and I can not only get regular cubed ice, but I can also get crushed ice. So then I fill my cup up with the crushed ice, because I'm like, yo, this is differenter. And I just love it so much. Amani says, yes, I'm obsessed with alkaline water and coconut water. Me too. Me too. All right, you guys. So let's go ahead and move on because I took my hydration break and I can see that about 100 to like 150 of you guys went and liked this video. So I appreciate that so much. Brianna says, Jess, when are you coming back to New Orleans? We miss you. I miss you more and soon. Hopefully sooner rather than later. Arrow says, I think the straw can make it better. No, like I am only drinking it with the straw because I have lip gloss on and lipstick on. Okay. So wait a minute. Vic says, did you talk about Mercury retrograde yet? Not yet, but now let's talk about Mercury retrograde. So, Mercury retrograde is going to be happening next week, the 18th. Let me pull up my thing here. Pardon me, just a minute. Yeah, actually, no, it's this week, the 18th. So yeah, Mercury's gonna go retrograde. And this is I'm so glad that you said that, Vic, because it's not only Mercury retrograde that we need to talk about, it's the fact that the vertex point is here. The North Node was originally there, but it's going backwards into the sign of Gemini currently as we speak. And we have how many other planets that are currently retrograde right now? Venus is retrograde, Saturn is retrograde, Jupiter is retrograde, Pluto is retrograde. Now Mercury is going to be retrograde. Instead of you guys losing your shit about this, just take this. I know some of you guys, again, are like, all I want to do is move forward. Can we have a transparent moment? I'm about to read you for the fucking filth. Can we have a transparent moment? Have you guys realized yet that some of the loudest people complaining about the fact that the planets are retrograde, Pluto, Jupiter, Saturn, Venus, then Mercury, are retrograde? These are the loudest voices on the internet. But if you look at them, you could really ask them and be like, are you even ready for half the shit that is that you're asking for? Just stop. If you think about it, right? These are the same people that are be like, now I can't do this. Now, these are the same people that find excuses in everything. They find excuses in everything. They'll be like, oh, I can't do it because my phone broke down because Mercury retrograde. Oh, I got in a fight with my best friend again because for whatever reason. No, that wasn't, you used Mercury, you used your phone breaking down as an excuse for you to focus, for you to get a game plan for yourself, for you to take that game plan seriously, and for you to actually do action on that. You've been talking about it for so long, but when are you going to be about it? Then if you want to talk about Venus or Mercury retrograde, oh, I got into a fight with my best friend, blah, 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 she ain't shit. No, the reality is that you suck at communicating with other people. The reality is that you have no desire to be able to understand what someone else is saying. You are actively fighting with other people. It's not the whole world against you, it's you against the whole world. Are you serious? These are the same people that find excuses for everything and then blame it on everything and everyone except themselves. Don't be one of those people, right? If you know how to work with the planets, you will make them work for you, and you will not be one of those same people that is always the loudest one in the room being like, oh, fuck, now Mercury's retrograde. What can we do? Follow the planets, dude. You're gonna find something wrong anyways. What were you gonna do if Mercury retrograde wasn't actually happening and Mercury was direct? Would you have done anything anyways? Probably not. You'd be sitting on your ass waiting for someone else to do it for you, and then complaining, well, why am I not successful? Why do I not have this? Why am I not going on this trip? Because what have you done? What have you done? Nothing. So don't be one of those people. When Mercury retrograde happens and when it occurs, this is a chance for you to regain your strength, for you to pull back into your space, for you to get a new game plan, for you to figure it all out once again. Okay, it's one thing to be like, okay, there's the issues that it is that we cannot control. There's a lot of things in this world that is that we cannot control, but there are a lot of things that you can control. Okay, there are a lot of things that you can control. The reality is that some of you guys keep putting in these little fluffy things that distract you from doing that, whatever that thing is. When Mercury retrograde happens in the sign of Cancer, this is an opportunity for you to be compassionate towards yourself, to be compassionate towards others, to revisit self-care, to revisit your family, to fix issues that have been swept under the rug for far too long. Have really hard heart-to-heart conversations. Make those therapy appointments. Call your best friend and see their perspective. You know, there's so many things that is that you can do. There's so many things that is that you can rebuild. Having your cell phone break down should not impact or derail your relationships, your entire business, none of that. That is only a minor inconvenience, and you should have been prepared for it. Mercury retrograde says that even the planets need to take time for themselves. If that has to happen for the planets, it definitely sure as hell has to happen for you. So instead of you fighting and swimming up against stream and being like, nothing ever happens the way I want it to, meh. Instead of having that mentality and that mindset, sit tight, sit right, regather yourself. Remember that nothing ever can ever take your power from you. It just shows you how to work with it differently. If you are only ever being powerful in this one way, you can never be powerful over here. You can never evolve. You can never do differently. You can never experience differently, because all you can experience is just this. All I have is just this tiny little bubble right here, and if anything just kind of shakes my ecosystem, then I'm fucked. The universe says, if you would just let me breathe life into you, and ideas and new ventures and new knowledge, if you would just open your mind and your heart and your spirit to receiving that, imagine what could happen. But yet and still, you just decide to get totally distracted by the internet and to get totally derailed, when the reality is that the world was your oyster, and that you have so much potential, and there's so many things that you can do with it, what we have given you. Now go and do it, right? When Mercury retrograde comes up, for those of you guys that need additional information as far as what that means, I have about 3 or 4 different videos that break down how to work with Mercury retrograde information, or Mercury retrograde time, from going consignment shopping to cleaning out your closets to how to navigate if you should text your ex, or if you should ignore and block his ass. Like, all of those things are fully detailed for you on my YouTube channel. If you haven't seen it, you're not looking for it. If you're not looking for it, then what are you doing? So, you know, feel free to go ahead and check out those videos. But Mercury retrograde, for the most part, is going to be happening on the 18th. If you do get a text message from your ex, fine, whatever it is, what it is. Look at my banished candle. Look at that flame. Sorry, guys. For those of you guys waiting for candles, this is a fixed candle, by the way. Of course I did it. But for those of you guys waiting for candles, there is a delay. Of course. I mean, we knew that with Saturn and Jupiter. I'm not trying to blame it on the planets. It just really is. Like, sometimes you got to work with what it is that you're working with. And there's been so much going on, you guys. Not only for me, but for those that help me to pack up. You guys have seen my apartment is filled with, you know, my custom clients' candles. That's why everyone has their name written on the bottom, because it's literally theirs. This one is mine. But there is a delay. If you guys have any questions on your candles, if you're waiting for them, you can send it over at info@BahatiLife. Eric is the one who answers those emails. He's doing the best that he can. There is a lot going on, not only on the business front, but in every single one of our personal lives. If you can imagine that, and you can imagine, like, you have your own life, you got your own stuff going on, and then you have to deal with that and that and that and that. There's a lot going on. So I just really want to say really quickly, shout out and thank you to everyone who is being so patient. You guys have been so fucking amazing with me. No one is being ignored. We're just doing the best that we can. Okay. Shauna says, is your store going to be restocked? It is, but not right now. We're spending a lot of time like focusing on what we're doing with packing and me creating and stuff. Everything again is custom, and there's over 700 custom candles, so it does take a minute. All right, the next thing Corona. Sorry, guys. Okay, sorry, guys. Okay, so Josie says, Jess, what about the new moon this weekend? Anything to look out for? So much to look out for. The new moon is going to be happening on the 21st. That's something that I want you guys to put a pin in. It's going to be in Cancer, which is going to be, I don't want to say a problem. It depends. It depends on what's going on in your personal chart. It depends on what's going on in your life. It depends on what your personal planets, how they're going to be impacting. The eclipse. It's a solar eclipse, number one, and basically, and we're just in eclipse season anyways right now. So there are so many things that are just going to be highlighting and popping off. The one thing though that you don't want to do is to panic. Solar, any type of eclipse, whether it's a solar or lunar eclipse, it's there to create massive change. It's there to create a massive shift. If you have anything planned on this day, when it comes to beauty treatments or anything like that with aesthetic, I probably wouldn't do it on this day. If you guys are thinking about cutting your hair, getting plastic surgery, anything like that, dental work, I wouldn't do it on this day. If you're having a massive conversation, you want to be very mindful and very flexible. You want to listen more than react. You don't want to make decisions on this day for the most part, not verbal, set in stone decisions. Just trust me on this. Unless it's something from the past, unless it's something that you've already worked on, that you've already put out there, that you've already addressed, that comes up and says, hey, we revisited this. This is a great idea. We'd love for you to do this. We would love to work with you on that. That's something totally different. If whatever it is that you're trying to initiate during this time is within the last 3 months, 3 to 4 months, maybe sometimes longer than that, I would say it's a hard no. Relationships, there's a really strong breakdown that can happen. I know for some of you guys, you're like, wait, what? Did I say the 20th? I'm sorry, I meant the 21st. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the fact that the sun moved into the sign on the 20th, and the 21st is the solar eclipse. My bad. My bad, you guys. Sorry. Yes, the 20th is when the sun actually moves into the sign of Cancer. So to clear that up, my bad. And then the eclipse happens the day afterwards on the 21st. If you guys are having, Delian's Agares is saying, I'm going to my cave. You don't have to go into your cave. This is not something for you to be afraid of, although it is nice to be in the home environment. It is nice to do things with your family during this time. Family is definitely heightened. The home is definitely heightened under this eclipse in the sign of Cancer. But this is also about your emotional well-being. It's about your emotional truths. It's about how you're nurturing and taking care of yourself. It's about using your feelings, whatever those feelings are that are provoked during this time. Even though it's a new moon, even though it's a solar eclipse, the emotions are still heightened. They're still there. The moon is still impacting it. It's still giving its energy here, especially in the sign of Cancer. These are things that you may not know. It's not as bad as a full moon, but the full moon is still igniting itself anyways from the last eclipse. But these are things that, it's not that you don't know that they're there. They just not be so, they might not be in your awareness as much. So you could be very emotional and not know where those emotions are coming from. Someone could say something can happen, and you're like, I have no idea why this is triggering me. And the reason why is because Cancer is the very opposite of Capricorn, right? Just like Capricorn is working with energy that has been embedded within you, the same thing is happening in the sign of Cancer. These are things that have been embedded emotionally inside of you. Some of you guys were like, oh no, I'm completely unbothered. No, that's a defense mechanism. If you're the type of person that doesn't like to deal with your issues, that likes to put them off and keep pushing them back off to the side because you don't want to be vulnerable or you don't feel like you need them, or doesn't impact you, it does impact you. The other thing that it is that I want you guys to see is that the vertex point is happening, is moving through the sign of Cancer, okay? So when you're following your emotions, when you're following your feelings, when the universe is guiding you through those feelings, why is that? Well, because Cancer is one of the cardinal signs. It wants to create change. That change comes from its feelings, through its emotions, through its intuition. So when all of those things that are prompting you, whatever that trigger is prompting you, it's fated. It's there for a reason. The next thing is that you guys really, the North Node is sitting here in the sign of Gemini. This is about listening. This is about hearing. This is about articulating. This is not about getting it right, getting it perfect, and having an understanding, like a deeper understanding of why things are the way that they are. They just are the way that they are, and it's just your job to ask questions. Some of you guys are really kind of focusing on perfection and performance, and you're really wanting, in your mind, you're like, okay, well, if I can't get it right, if I can't hit it to 100% or 110%, I'm not even going to try. The reality is that you have to at least try to make sense of it all. Whatever it is that's coming through, you don't have to fully understand it, but ask questions so that you're connecting with others, so that you're connecting with yourself, so that you're getting more and more detailed to specifics on what works for you, what you want for you. Okay? JD Fitzgerald is saying, I'm a Cancer moon and a rising. You're definitely going to feel this. You're definitely going to feel this eclipse. Definitely the closer to the very beginning signs. Sorry guys, I'm looking at my phone. Definitely in the beginning of this sign in Cancer, the closer you are to the very beginning degrees of Cancer, the more you're going to feel it. The same thing with the very tail end of Capricorn. Pretty sure. Yep, the very tail end of. Esther says, do you learn which questions to ask? Do you learn to ask? So it definitely depends. Wait, Martha says no manifesting during this eclipse. You can absolutely manifest during this eclipse, okay? Eclipses are prime time for setting intention and manifesting. That's the one thing that I forgot to mention, is that when it comes to making major decisions with other people, like when it comes to business plans or relationships and those types of things, like, are we going to go to Disney World? Are we going to go to Universal Studios? Those are the things that I would wait on. But when it comes to setting intention and reconnecting with the details, the specifics of what it is that you want for yourself, and not getting it perfect, but just getting it more tailored, set intention for that, okay? And if you don't know, this is a great time for you to set intention for clarity, for insight, for information, to help inspire you so that you can get more guidance as far as what is that you want and see for yourself, if that makes any sense. Eclipses are not evil. That's an old antiquated thought and belief system, like an old wise tale that says to you that, eclipses are bad, or that, this is the end of the world times. It's not. It's just the end of an era. It's an end of whatever it is that's going on at that moment in time. It's a new, total, groundbreaking breakthrough moment. And for everyone, it's going to be different, okay? Some of you guys are like, well, Jess, I don't have Cancer in my chart. You do. Everyone has Cancer ruling something within their chart. Elizabeth says, Jessica, what's your moon and rising? We're derailing a little bit. But my rising sign is Cancer and my moon is Virgo. Oh my God. Another thing, you guys, is that I want you guys to keep an eye out on is your money. Your shmoney. What is it that you're attracted to? It's going to change. I had that happen in my own life where I found myself drawn to someone that I normally wouldn't, but I caught it right away. But Venus is still retrograde, you guys. And then Neptune's going to be retrograde on the 23rd until November 29th. So there's just so much when it comes to relationships. It's really important that number one, there's an energy right now of not settling, okay? If you're single and looking to mingle, then keep it mingling. I don't see relationships during this time really settling. That's because everything right now is so unsettled. That's not to say that it can't happen. I just feel like it's not a good time to cement these things right now. There's so many things that are changing. People's minds, what they want, what they're about. That's nothing to panic about. It's just something to take into consideration. When it comes to money, that's the same thing as like, you shouldn't be making massive investments right now. this is, if you're gonna, let's say if you were thinking about buying a house, that's like that type of massive investment. It's a 50-50, and that's when you want to consult an astrologer. And the reason why is because Venus is retrograde, Saturn is retrograde, Jupiter and Pluto are retrograde. So these planets that you would ideally want to support you when you're making that investment, you don't want to change, like you don't want to change your mind on it later. But at the same time, some people could get a really big, massive break. Like let's say you're looking for properties and you're going to sell them and flip them. You might not be emotionally invested into it. I would, that's, you couldn't find a better time if you ask me personally. But I would wait. I would do a lot of renovations right now and then wait until like 2.5, 3 weeks after Venus goes direct again to then put it on the market, to then put it out. But for right now, you guys, if you're into like major investments or buying luxury like purchases like that, like major purchases, I just wouldn't, if for an emotional, for a home value, I don't know if I necessarily would do it unless you're open to a lot of changes in the near future and if you're financially planning for that. However, again, if you're doing the renovating and you're going to flip it, you couldn't find a better time. When it comes to major purchases, financial, you really want to be careful with it, like luxury items and those types of things. The market right now in money is, and what is valuable is changing so rapidly, so quickly. I can't predict it. Like I even can't predict it. The best thing to do is to pay attention to the details, to ask questions, and to notice everything as much as you can. Look at every fucking fine detail. Read the fine print, all of those things you really need to look into it. Linda says starting a business, and Ashley says, what about buying a car? When it comes to starting a business, you want to make sure, if this is an old time business, I don't know if I would necessarily, like if this is an old idea, I would do it so that you're not putting all of your eggs in one basket. So you should do it, if you're going to start a business, let it be something that is online based and you're not, if it doesn't work out, and I know that that's like common sense, but like you need even more common sense now more than ever, especially with Capricorn energy and Earth energy. You really need common sense now more than ever. But if you don't, you need to have like a backup plan. Like you really need to, like, if this doesn't work out, like don't put all of your eggs in one basket. Like don't throw all of your money into Google AdWords or whatever the case is. The next thing is for when it comes to a car, this is another thing that I would wait on. Read the fine print if you must. I'm also thinking that like if you're leasing, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but just make sure that it's flexible. Make it work for you. So let's say if you felt like you needed to change your mind, like a few months later, you can do that. But as far as like a massive like investment down in a car, I wouldn't necessarily do that. If it's like something that like, let's say like it's the difference between buying necessity and buying because you want it. If it's a necessity, then number one, make sure that you have the resources just in case there's a breakdown or anything like that. You could also get a good deal on it, but just read the fine print and go to someone that you trust. Part of fortune is sitting in the sign of Virgo. Anything that is Virgo is your good luck charm. Virgo doesn't miss a detail. It doesn't, if one hair is outside of like off, Virgo will find it and work to fix it. So that is everyone's good luck charm, is if you can't find someone, then be that someone. You have to look at all of the details, check the fine print. Don't sign, without having all of those things confirmed. Again, there's a difference between buying necessity and buying for luxury. If you guys are buying a Porsche or a Lamborghini or a Land Rover or whatever, you could really get it on a good deal, but make sure that you're reading all the fine print and you're checking yourself before you wreck yourself. Somewhat other says, I really need to move soon though. Well, look for your apartment. Lara says, any advice about getting a tattoo? Do your research first and don't get it now. Wait until Venus is retrograde because I'm waiting to get my tattoo as well. We'll get it at the same time. All right, you guys. So that's pretty much it for now. Mercury is still the sign of Cancer, so compassion is needed now more than ever. We all know that. Being sweet is better than being bitter. Working with people is better than fighting against them, but don't be a pushover. Cancer is not a weak sign. Everyone says that Cancer is the baby of the zodiac. It's not. It's a cardinal sign. It's a leader. It just pulls from its emotions. So you guys need to learn how to do the same thing for yourself. That being strong does not mean that you're forcing your will. It's not always the loudest person in the room. It's about being someone that you can count on, being someone that can hear and listen to everyone, and then make changes based upon whatever it is that you pull your strength from, okay? All right. So on that note, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and head out. Thank you so much for tuning in to tonight's Astro Chat Live. It is going to be up on the YouTube channel for replay if you guys need to. And I want to invite you to go ahead and follow me on Instagram at Bahati Life. If you guys have any questions about anything that I said tonight, go ahead and email me over at info@bahatilife.com. Eric does an amazing job at screening them to make sure that anything that I need to see is something that it is that I will see. And if I don't need to see it, he won't pass it over. That's for my own protection and to allow me to focus on the things, okay? But until then, you guys, I really appreciate you tuning in tonight. And I will see you next Monday. For those of you guys that are a part of the Sacred Circle, we are going live tomorrow. The Sacred Circle Tarot School. We're definitely going live tomorrow. I haven't made the announcement yet on our platform, but just know that we are. Okay? And how the heck do I exit out of this? I don't know how I know how to exit out of this yet. You might see me. Oh, okay. I found it. I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon, and make sure that you're you're tuned in and that you're subscribed to the YouTube channel because there's plenty more videos.